Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu analysis video. In the morning these videos come, in the evening the daily UPSC MCQ series that comes. In both these lessons you must follow them religiously, both for prelims and mains stage, and it's a consistent addition in your knowledge for the interview process also, because there is no separate preparation for the interview phase, and every day you are adding something in your knowledge, in your personality, and it's all a consistent upliftment of your issues. Now 25th of June, and these are the important courses by StudyIQ, affordable courses, and the description is given below the video. Everything is given there. You can call on these numbers, and if you are interested in these courses, these are actually very important for the newcomers and other repeaters also, because you can stay at your home, you will not waste your time, and you will learn consistently and as many times as you think you can repeat those classes. It's not like any offline class where you waste lakhs of rupees. So this is the Facebook group where I upload the PDF, and you get the PDF from the Telegram link also. The link is also given here, and StudyIQ's Telegram channel you all have. These are the words today that I found, and you can use them into sentences. Now a clear picture that shows it's yesterday's current affair that we missed. UP government project to beautify Taj Mahal stalled. Elections are over, so now many meetings will be there and no result will be there, and when some pressure will be needed, when some advertisement will be needed, then they will take care of many simple things, and they will highlight them as they have done everything, and nothing was done before and everything we are doing at best. So you see the clear picture. There is a monument behind that, and world class monument. As the list is there for 7 marvels in this world which are wonders, and this is at the first number. And what is the condition here? Nowhere in this world you will see this kind of condition with the word renowned monuments. And what kind of mud, what kind of filth is there, and so near this particular monument, you see. And I would raise a particular question here. The kind of filth that we are watching here, how many machines we would need? Around 8 to 10 machines you deploy here, and within 2-3 hours this mud will be cleared off from here, and you can manage any particular site for that disposal. But this picture shows the clear level of apathy, and the bigger problem is that there is a great advertisement regarding the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, regarding any other scheme, regarding any other project, and you see the reality there. If this is the condition near the monuments, what is the rest of the country? But you see, this is all advertisement. That's the biggest problem. And the people who are behaving in a very problematic way, that they are just believing advertisements. They are way away from the reality, and nobody talks about these kind of issues. And people are stuck in these nonsensical religious debates, and they want to settle something really nonsense. And these are the things which are giving us a disease, which are troubling our daily life, which is hampering our progress, which is creating hurdles for our future. So there is no issue regarding that, but there are some newspapers like the Hindu raised this issue. So this is showing us the clear picture, and the picture is so evident that you can write a mains question regarding that instead of all those claims, instead of all those programs, at least this kind of pictures should not be there. Maybe there is no perfect implementation, there is no 100% execution of the programs, and many successes we have achieved. But you see, this picture shows everything. This picture shows that how much sincerity is there. It is all bringing new successes and talking about development, but in reality, if this kind of scene is there around Taj Mahal and so near to it, then it's a really problematic thing. And the Yamuna river is flowing there. People are dependent on this river, and drinking water is being given to crores of lives. So what's the situation? So regarding that, you can write a question. You can write that what is the problem that you see, what is the lack of implementation, and why this kind of apathy is there, and how much apathy do you observe in present scenario, and what are the major solutions for that. And you see, one more thing should be added in the major solution. This thing is also given in the article today, that there must be an accountability factor. It is not only about the problematic solution. Solution is also should also be there, where you held accountable to some authorities, to some governments, because they are ruling there, and it is their responsibility that regarding all these claims, they should be backed with some reality. in this picture, this is totally visible that reality is far away than these claims. So that's the problem, and the accountability and the action against these authorities and the government, that should be immediate, because this is perfectly clear. If they can waste 60,000 crore rupees in the election process and they do not want to reveal the details of the election funding, then why these problems are there? These are so apparent things, and these are small, these are not so huge a thing, because as I told you, at least this kind of picture should not be there. And how much effort would be needed, how much fund would be needed to remove this filth near the Taj Mahal monument, but you see the apathy level is at the maximum. So that's the case. So you can write a question and the essay regarding that. Next, regarding southwest monsoon present deficit, the rains that we have got till now, it's 38%. It's a huge thing, and if it continues for the next 2-3 months, then it can be a major problem. It's a major crisis in this country. Already the agrarian crisis is too much, and if this continues in this year with the monsoon, then we may face a drastic impact of that, because there are monsoon vagaries every year. We know in some areas there are no rains, and there are major gaps in these rains, because monsoon stays for around 4 months, but in between there are gaps that for 15 days, 25 days there are no rains in some regions. So these are monsoon gaps and vagaries, you may call them. And more than 60% of our agriculture is dependent on this, and it is the data by IMD. So it's the official data, where they were saying that around 96% would be the monsoon this year, but till now 38% deficit is there, and it's a major problem. And in terms of districts, 47% face large deficiencies, at least 60% below normal. So it is talking about a major crisis. The major reservoir in this country, where Central Water Commission, the technical wing under the Ministry of Water, that takes care of all these major reservoirs, they are running with below average capacities, and most of them, 80 to 90% of these reservoirs, they are now at below normal storage capacity, and every day in this heat the water is vanishing with a very fast pace. So it becomes a bigger problem here. So that's the case. So we have to see what kind of future is there in the next 2 months. And next information is regarding scientists decode genome of miracle plant. Kani tribe is there near Agastya Malai range, and they use this plant that's having antioxidant, aphrodisiac, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory properties, anti-tumor properties also, anti-ulcer properties also, and hepatoprotective also, means very great for liver conditions. So Trichopus xylanicus, or in local language Arogya Pasha. So it's a great plant. Many plants are there like that, but important is that what is making them so great? That is all genes. These are genes which are making these plant. These are genes which are making some drought resistant plants. These are genes which are making my body. These are genes which are making an elephant's body, a whale's body. So these all differences are due to genes. So at genetic level, if we get the information, then that's the best thing that we can achieve. So the genome, the total number of genes are decoded for this particular plant. This is Trichopus xylanicus, and it's Arogya Pasha. So that's a great achievement, and you see, and this was a study published in some journal also, and now we have to see what kind of solution we can get here. But it's a great thing, and these kind of researches should be supported always. Most of the times they are run on some laboratory level, some individual level, some scientist groups level, and university level. Not much support we see regarding that. So that's a troublesome thing. Next, ILS develops antibodies against Chikungunya infection. You see, vector-borne disease are there. Malaria, dengue, Chikungunya, these are vector-borne disease. Okay. What are the vector-borne disease? Vector-borne disease are that if we talk about the malaria, then the Anopheles is just the vector. It is not the cause. Cause is the Plasmodium protozoa, and it is just taken to the particular body of a human being, and when the mosquito sucks the blood, then it pass on these plasmodiums into the blood, and then it develops the disease. But the problem is that with the plasmodium there is no antigen that our body can identify. And when the antigens are identified, these are the foreign particles, they can be anything. So these are antigens. When they are identified, then our body develops antibodies against that, and these antibodies will eat those antigens, and we will be healthy after some time. So this is a fight with the antibodies, with the antigens by antibodies. So if we have the antibodies regarding any antigen, and any antigen can be a virus, a bacteria, or any pathogen. So antibodies if are there, then we are healthy. And if we have a low immunity, then we will have less antibodies and more infection, and that will make us diseased. So in some vaccines, what we do, we just bring the inactivated pathogen, maybe an inactivated virus or inactivated bacteria, and then our body will develop antibodies against that, and our body has memory, so that in future when this infection will come again, then it will develop antibodies automatically. So it's a immune response, and it's based on the immune memory, and it is the case of vaccination. Now for chikungunya, these antibodies were not identified earlier. Now ILS Institute of Life Sciences, working under the Department of Biotechnology, that has entered into a non-exclusive license for product commercialization after having successfully developed antibodies against the chikungunya viral infection, so chikungunya infection. So that's the case. Chikungunya is due to a virus, dengue is due to the virus, but malaria is due to a protozoa called plasmodium. So that's the case, and antibodies are significant in a way. And as I told you, when we can develop antibodies with specific antigen, then only we are secure. Regarding AIDS, this is again a problem, that antibodies could not be developed till now. Oh, that's why we do not have that defense system against those viruses. Next, CJI writes to Prime Minister for removal of Allahabad High Court judge. Many complaints were there regarding Allahabad High Court judge, and he was sent on long leave also, and that was the trouble. What is the procedure to remove a High Court judge or a Supreme Court judge? Regarding Supreme Court judge, Article 124 is there, and regarding the High Court judge removal, Article 218 is there. The procedure is given there. But you see, this is the impeachment process, but the word impeachment is not used in the Constitution. This is not used originally in the Constitution. And how we can remove the judge there? There is a process. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. In any house, this can be started. There would be proposers. In Lok Sabha, 100 proposers should be there. In Rajya Sabha, 50 proposers should be there, which will bring this removal proposal, and then 3 judges committee would be formed, and that would inquire into those charges. If these are found to be real, then there would be voting. There are 2 majorities that should be as a condition, and they should be fulfilled. Absolute majority means 50% membership of the house, that should be there, and 50% plus 1 majority should be there in the voting in the favor of that removal. And plus I'm saying plus, not or, it's plus 2/3 of present and voting, means whoever are present, they how many they are in number, so 2/3 of them, they should be in the favor of removal. Then only we can remove the High Court judge or the Supreme Court judge. So this is a very tough process, and that's why rarely any High Court judge or the Supreme Court judge is removed till date. So now CJI writes this letter to Prime Minister that start the removal process regarding Justice S.N. Shukla, the judge of the Allahabad High Court. Many complaints were there against him, and on many occasions this thing was discussed. So now it's a letter to Prime Minister, because in legislature only this process would be started. So that is the case. Okay, and when this proposals, these 100 in Lok Sabha, 15 Lok Sabha, they will give this proposal to Speaker in Lok Sabha and a Chairman in the Rajya Sabha, so who received it, and if that is admitted by that Speaker or Chairman, then it will constitute a 3-member committee to investigate the complaint. So this is the process. Okay, next, economic plan for West Asia peace snubbed. Why? Because Trump administration, they brought up a proposal for Palestinian issue. They said that 50 billion economic plan would be there. They published a report that massive infrastructure projects, job creation for Palestinians, we will introduce there, and this way we want to settle this issue. But this was totally rejected by all these countries called Lebanon, Palestinian, even Israel said no to this, because this proposal is very much irrelevant to the peace process, because they say that maybe we need money and we are in a dire need, but we cannot go this kind of bargain. This is so unfortunate and very much embarrassing for us, and America should not be too much proud in its sense that it wants to buy us in its sense, and you cannot buy us. We will not quote a price 50 billion for our needs. This is all the case of justice, and total injustice is happening, and America is actually sponsoring this injustice here, and we will fight with all these forces, and your dollars cannot convince our governments to do that. So that's the case. So now we have to see what kind of suggestion and a new proposal would be there by the Trump administration, but certainly this was a problem. You see the map here. This is Jordan, Israel, Lebanon, Syria. This is the West Bank territory, and in this West Bank territory 60% is still under the occupation of Israel only. So very troublesome case. And you can see a strip here. This is called Gaza Strip. So there this Hamas group is there, and it's a Palestinian territory, and 40% of this West Bank is the Palestinian territory. So that is the situation, and many times I have told you regarding this detail, and many questions I have given you in the past, and questions were asked in the prelims examination also with this area. So it's very important to look at the map. Next, now we will start with the articles. This is the article important for GS paper 2 and 3, a very important topic for essay also, because it is the case of our security issues and our capacities. It is talking about the recent issue of AN-32 aircraft, which was crashed and many lives were lost again. Some time back, the same plane was crashed and many lives were lost, and one of the victims' father raised this concern that why these technical deficiencies are there, why the government is not able to tackle those problems, and why repeatedly we are managing this issue with same kind of capacities. What is the problem with upgrading these systems? Why we cannot introduce these life-saving instruments like the terrain what do we call it? The terrain following radar system and the ground proximity warning system that could have averted this incident, and again we lost many lives. And till when we need to wait for these kind of introductions? Every time all the proposals when they come, then most of the times they are cancelled. Many bureaucratic hurdles are there. The procedure followed by Defense Acquisition Council, that's always problematic, and there are delays like 2-3 decades for introduction of new planes, and when they come, till that time many technologies are already obsolete, because you see it's a very modernized world, and every year new introductions are there, new technologies are being developed. So when we have a race, and when we will have those kind of fights with modern nations, because we will not fight with a smaller nation and the nation that is not capable, we will have to fight with some big countries in the future if we have this kind of escalations. And fortunately till now we do not have any, but who knows about the capacities and who knows about the situations in the future, because the world is going in a very wrong direction. So we will have a rivalry with very advanced countries, and if we compare our situations, our capabilities with those countries, then we are lagging behind a lot. So that's the case. So Indian Air Force flies 38 different types of aircrafts, and that is one of the biggest diversities. But these are MiG-21, MiG-27, Avro, which are very much obsolete, not used by any other country in this world. Avro is running since World War I. The first version came in World War I. It is by UK. MiG-21 is by Russia. So we are still using that, and there is a dire need of replacement, but we are not able to do that. We are going with some upgradations. Even in AN-32, which was crashed, the upgradations are going on. We need replacements there, but upgradations are going on. And some positive examples like the long-serving IL-76. Okay, IL-76, which has rarely the accident-free innings in IAF. Right now, 24 IL-76s are flying, but all others, they are having major mishaps. There are category A mishaps also, and here the writer is comparing the UK, US and Indian data, and these are technical details, but in short I can tell you that Indian condition is not good. Although we have improved a lot, but still there are many accidents and there are many mishaps, and many things are extremely risky. And when even one single life is at risk, then we need to go for solutions there. All those solutions are not simple, and it is the case of thousands of crores of rupees. But when I see that 60,000 crore rupees are wasted in Lok Sabha elections, then why not these kind of developments are there, and why not we have experts and professional people who are buying these technologies, planes and all? Why there is no such body, and why we are dependent on these politicians and the councils who are not experts, who do not know any expert details, who are dependent on the advices of these professionals, and they are just advising. They cannot go for these deals and all. What is the problem? We can have solution. We may have an expert body, and we may have a corruption checking body also, and this way we can go with that particular thing. But that is not done, because intentionally they are delaying some issues. Always we have these big corruption issues with all the governments, and even the bizarre things like we do not want to reveal some details. Some other loophole was there. We do not want to reveal the pricing issues and all. So why these kind of issues we have consistently, and why these delays of 2-3 decades till the time everything is obsolete? So why we are putting everything at risk? We have seen the results of the risk taking. You see, everything was risk at Muzaffarpur hospital, but more than 150 lives are lost, and with official numbers more than 200 lives are lost till now. So why risks are taken always, and just because of budgetary constraints and maintenance issues? Training issues are also there. You see, we do not have many trainer aircrafts. That's again a major issue, and here the parameters are like cockpit to crew ratio, which are seen always when we evaluate the combat readiness. Then here also we do not have much margin there, we do not have much capacity there, and we may be at risk. So why these kind of problems? We have solutions in front of us. We have to expedite the process of LCA production. We need to induct more and more, but we are ignoring HAL heavily. We are ignoring HAL that has done tremendous jobs there, although some difficulties were there with HAL, that is the state-owned PSU, but we are ignoring that, and consistent troubles are there, corruption issues are there with these acquisitions, and the Rafale issue is much highlighted till now. Fast tracking of the new deal of 114 fighter jets. At any cost, we should go very fast with that deal. We will solve the pricing issues later, but at least you should go for that immediately. But that's not the case. Regarding the training aircrafts, you see, they say that 50% problems are of the training deficiencies, and that's why the human errors are there. So it's not like that these pilots are foolish ones, but the problems of the trainings are there. We are lacking in training aircrafts. We are going with age-old Avro trainer aircraft, pilotless PC-7 aircrafts, and that's why we have major problems. An excellent STT-40 was made by HAL, but now the delivery is not possible till now, and we are keeping the 40-year-old current flyworthy, and we are compromising on the training quality there, and that's why many deaths are happening. Very unfortunate accidents are happening because we do not have those training levels, and we do not have important terrain-based and the ground-based systems. Like a ground proximity warning system should have been there on the AN32, but the lives were lost. If you talk about the AN32, then what was the problem? It has two engines. If one engine is failed, then the other engine cannot take this aircraft more than 8,000 feet, and that's below the peaks of these mountains. So that's why, because one engine failed, then the other could not have that much capacity, and they did not have these ground proximity warning systems and the terrain following radar system, and that's why the crash happened and all these lives were lost. So you just imagine, because of these budgetary constraints, and we could not afford till now these technologies, the major consequence is that the death of many of our soldiers. So what we are doing, what we are discussing, and on what grounds we are delaying these issues. We do not have any kind of lack in funds in these election campaignings. We are showering flowers there. We can shower flowers anywhere in this country on the election campaigns, but here you see this is shocking as a detail. And replacing the Avro aircraft with a modern platform that can share the workload of AN-32 is very necessary. And the choice of IAF is very clear, that is Tata Airbus C295. Tata has done very nice job as a committed job for this country in many areas, and that's a clear choice. It can take this aircraft to 19,000 feet with the single engine also. So it's a great replacement, but that is not possible till now. That's the problem. We are in a dire need of replacement of MiG-21s and MiG-27s, Jaguars, Avros, Kiran trainers, and Cheetah Chetak helicopters. But the best we can do is the upgradation there, not replacement till now. And the replacement rate is very slow. So these are the ignorances and the capacity issues. We have to set red lines for that. IAF must lay down the clear red lines for the continued operation effectiveness, that beyond that we will not fly our soldiers, and we cannot put our lives in threat. And these things are not done. And always we see claims in the favor of governments. I don't know, I don't understand this thing. And people also, they believe all kinds of advertisements and the claims, and problems are going on consistently. This is the detail that appeared in the Hindu newspaper some time back. So these are regarding these C295 and the Avro transport aircraft. This is AN-32, and it was by Soviet Union at that time, now Russia, and you can see that upgradations are going on with this AN-32 also. We need replacement, but the upgradations are going on. Next article, important for GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4 and essay topic. Very abstract topic. It is regarding the case of rights, basic rights, ignorance of these rights, suppression of these basic rights, and the accountability factor. The writer says that it's time to articulate an equally robust doctrine of basic rights. Rights are there, but some are very basic rights, like your life, your food, your health. These should come under a separate category of basic rights, and these are uncompromisable. You see, governments of the day must also be punished for the violation of these basic rights, and it must be meted out immediately. We should not wait for 5 more years that we will see this government in the next election. It should not be done, because till that time they will set all these media houses and all positive kinds of advertisements you will see, and you will clearly forget about all these problems, as we forgot about the Japanese encephalitis cases and the Gorakhpur incident. Now this again would be forgotten, and now the weather is changing, and the monsoon is on the doors now. So these cases of AES, encephalitis, acute encephalitis issues syndrome, they are already down. So their work is done, but more than 200 lives, they are gone. Huge issue for their families, and we cannot imagine the pain there, because death is something that we do not have any control. The person cannot be brought back there, and at what cost? Maybe it's a dangerous disease, but it is happening due to malnutrition. This is now in a report, because it's a disease due to the biochemical deficiency, and the malnutrition is the major problem. All the kids who died, they were malnutritioned, and issue is linked to the poverty and the unemployment issue, because most of these kids, their parents, they were not able to get some good job, and the questions are raised against the Ayushman Bharat also, because Ayushman Bharat talks a lot, it claims very high, but what about the primary healthcare sector and the issue related to the primary treatment there? Major questions are there. They are promising the compensation up to 5 lakh rupees per family, but now things are all open, because the Ayushman Bharat supports the expenses and the charges when we are admitted in these hospitals, and mainly most of the times we want to get admitted into private hospitals, because the hygiene and the facilities are way more than that. So that would be reimbursed. So Ayushman Bharat supports these charges more than the primary treatment there, because for the primary treatment, for all these things, we need higher allocation in the budget in the health sector. Right now it is around 1%. Now the budget would be out in next month, very soon, so we would have to see how much raise they have, but they have set a target of 2.5% of the GDP for the health sector till 2025, so we cannot expect more. So this is the biggest problem, lower allocations in the budget for the health sector. These are the major problems, because in Ayushman Bharat it's a health protection scheme, and the premium would be taken from all the families, and most of the amount of that money would go into private hospitals and their pockets. So that's the major problem that is out with this case, and it's a clear case where kids were lying on the floor and a single doctor is taking care of 2-3 ICUs. No experienced nurses are working there, junior nurses are tackling all these issues, totally overburdened. And the anchors, these so-called committed media houses to the government, they are asking questions, they are threatening these doctors, they are harassing these doctors who are already burdened, and the poor doctor who is taking care of 2-3 ICUs at one time without any sleep, without any taking care of its own health. They are taking care of all these overburdened hospitals, and she is thrashing these doctors. So unfortunate. And biggest fools are these news watchers who are hailing these news anchors as the biggest ones, very powerful ones, and who are raising crucial issues. But what kind of crucial issues they are taking? They are just running agendas, and they are not doing ground reporting. Once in a while they will do the ground reporting, and they did this, that they were harassing the poor doctor there who is already overburdened. No recruitment is there. There must be 15 to 20, 25 doctors in 2, 3, 4 ICUs, 8, 10 ICUs, but only one is available there. No experienced nurses are there. So it is not the fault of the doctor, it is the fault of the system. So these anchors are not asking questions to the governments or the system, and instead of that they are thrashing the doctors there who are overburdened already. So this is the way that we are approaching the issue, and that's a clear case that is highly problematic today. We are caught in these advertisements and the claims. We are not given right information about the right reality, and maybe we were waiting for these risks. So nature told us that you were at risk, and these hospitals were going on like this. Now many revelations are there that how dirty the hospital is. It looks like a very dirty toilet there, and mosquitoes are all over there, so dirty. This case is no drinking water facility, no good food is there, it's all rotten in the case. So that's why these kind of death numbers. And you see, many kids died, but many did not die. Why? Because malnutrition was the major problem there. So that's why the writer talks about all these issues and their basis. What is the basis? Basis that now we have to talk about the basic rights. If the basic rights are flowing from basic needs, and such as physical security and the subsistence, and if somebody is stopping us from complaining about these problems, then it should again be a basic right that we can release our frustration and we can complain about that, and we can raise the issues of accountability. Even those are stopped. So that's the problem. So needs are different from wants. Writer cites the example of chocolate and antibiotic. It says that we know that we want chocolate, but heavens will not fall if we do not get the chocolate, but heavens will fall if we do not get the antibiotic at a particular time, because it may take our life. So that's the case. And you may be misguided about the basic rights. Maybe you are unaware of what is your basic right and what is your actual need, because poor people, uneducated people, they may be not knowing about their rights. So somebody will have to raise their concerns. So some committed and honest media houses are still there who are raising these realities, but not most of them. Most of them are totally committed, and they are suppressing those accountability questions. Actually, the way they were trying to shift the blame on the doctor from these authorities, so that nobody asks question from the authorities. So that's the problem, because recruitment was the responsibility of the authorities, not the doctor. So that's the case that they may misguide you about the needs also. And the complaining about the about these ignorances, that's again a important need and the basic right. So these are somehow misinformed and suppressed. So people suffer if the basic needs are met inadequately or if are ignored, and they are then denied a minimal decent life. Minimal decent life means a healthy body and the basic health supports your drinking water problems, your electricity and all these things. It's not like everything is totally running as a banana republic. Many issues are solved, like the housing issues and many other issues, they are given as a support, but a hell of ignorance is still there, and they are claiming great about those developmental issues and these life-saving issues, but this is not the reality. And in this case, this is all open, and that's why we are so angered about that, and we feel aggrieved when these things are abdicated by the state as their responsibility. So that's the case. So first, a right is a something that is owed to us. It is not a favor. It is not a favor that state is doing to us, and rights help the recognition of the anything that satisfies the basic need and the entitlement. And Henry Shoes puts it right. It says that it is an attempt to give the powerless a veto over some economic, social and political forces that harm them. Means our basic needs would be ignored by the corrupt states, but these rights, they are the tools against those forces which are suppressing those genuine questions. So that is the case, and that's why they need to be protected. Okay, so as in this case, it says, the report says that encephalopathy, the biochemical disease that results from eating lychee fruit pulp, occur only in malnutritioned children, because it is the case of maybe virus or pathogen. What it does, it enters the body. If the body's immunity is weak, then it will grow more in the body. If the body's immunity is strong, then it won't be able to grow in the body. It will not be able to progress in the body. So that's why one kid is saved from this disease and one kid is dying because of the disease, because the impact of the virus that is growing inside the body, that is really dangerous. So that's the case. So the link exists between the disease, unemployment and the poverty, because unemployment and poverty are directly related with the malnutrition problem. And in these poor districts and poor villages of Bihar, poverty is the major issue, that they are having less immunity and the less growth. So when a government fails to provide primary health care to those who cannot afford it, it violates their basic right. So the unemployment problem is all out. Poverty issues are still there. I don't know what kind of claims they make, but realities are totally different, and advertisements are totally in a different direction. They are showing us a different kind of India, but that India still is continuing with all those basic problems there, and it is all on a risk, as it is totally seen in the hospital there. So the life of the poor is becoming more and more miserable with the time, and the life of the rich is more and more supported with the time. So who is getting this developmental benefits? It's to be seen there. So you can write a mains question there, and this case shows clearly that what is the level of poverty and unemployment, and the problem, which are the real reasons for this case. So with the example of Muzaffarpur incident, you can write this question, that what are the problems of the system, what is the problem of accountability, and what are the possible solutions there, because solutions are lying within these problems. If these are addressed, then they will turn into solutions. So that's the case, and we will meet again tomorrow with some important article, and the facts we will discuss and come in the MCQ lesson also in the evening, and some details we will discuss later. Thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was Amit Sen.